Tomer, doing fucking really good. It's really getting close. Most of it's right there, but there is still some issues. The biggest one being the verse. You're still just having a really hard time getting that. They're just wrong. I mean, it happens 4 times, and all 4 of the times you're just not hitting. You're hitting not enough notes. I don't know what you're doing, but you're not doing it right. Because again, like I said the last time, there's a drum thing. It has to be. There is no changing it. I mean, I guess we could have rewritten it before we recorded it, so the drums don't do it if you can't actually keep up with it or whatever. But it's there. It has to be. It has to. There's no other option. There's just no other option. It has to be right. You know, it's. It's 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. All those counts are notes you have to hit. 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. You know, 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. Or, you know. 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. I'm sorry to do it so many times, but I mean, it's like the 500th fucking time. You just gotta fucking get it, dude. And I think, like I was saying in the Wake video, it's your right hand eighth notes, man. You gotta practice that tight, because I think that's probably the weakest part. You get lost when you start going faster. It needs to be tight. 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. That's it. I just don't know how else to say it. Just, you gotta listen, and if you think you like listen back, you're like, I got it. Turn the drums off and listen to if you're doing it like for real, because I think you just kind of hear it in the mix and you're like, oh, it's cool, but it's not. Just like I was saying in the Wake video, you're building a house, and a shitty foundation is not how you make something fucking awesome. So that, I mean, that's not about all your bass playing or anything, it's just this one part. Then the other thing, I was trying to let it go, but I just can hear it's not right, and I was trying to let it go. You're doing it tight, but you're doing it, and I wouldn't even say wrong, because it's the right notes. But in that same part, it just keeps bothering. I know it's going to bother me forever unless you do it right, and it's only happens what it happens 4 times, also 4 times. It's on the. I even do that slightly, but whatever. I don't do it all the time. Yeah, so it's. It ain't easy, but it can be done. I just don't play it all the time, so I don't. That part, you're playing all the notes. You're going like, and the reality is like it's right. I mean, don't delete what you have or something. I don't know. Maybe just. But if you slid with the slides of the guitar, it'll sound, because the thing is, it's the verse. It's all high, you know, the notey, clean thing, and then the heavy part is, you know. But you're going, you know, really heavy. You know, it's not heavy-handed, but all bass is heavy-handed, you know. So like that note is just as heavy as the big first downbeat of, and it just sounds better if you go. So like in the slides that go with the, you know, like, so it's, you know, slide up to 3, strike 5, strike 3 again, don't strike the 1, and then it sounds like nothing, but it'll sound. I mean, you can just hear it even in my original bassline comparative. It's just, it makes that chorus hit harder, because if you hit right before there's nothing making it heavier. But if you hear that, and that's bass, but you can totally do it. It's not like the bass doesn't ring out. You can, you know. And I just did it. I don't know. That's one of these things where it's just, I was trying to let it go because you did the right notes technically, or not technically. You did the right notes. But the slide and the striking of them, it's the dynamics, man. And it's just been bothering. I could hear it every single time. I'm just like, it could be better. Like, you're playing what you played tight, but it could just be better, man. it's the big thing is not hitting that one. I mean, making sure that note's there, but not striking it, because then it makes that way heavier compared to. There's no dynamic to that, so that small. So it's really just. I mean, honestly, it's mostly that's like that's it. Really, it's the verses, dude. It's the main verses. Those two things. If you can just get them tight, man, you're like right fucking there, dude. But you just really got to practice those ace notes. You know, and then the only other thing, there's a couple little things that are just tightness, and there's not many of them. Like a note, this or that. It's a little off, but not many of them. There's really not very many of them. It's getting pretty goddamn great. What else? Let's see. So it's there's a little thing where at 2:30 in there that there's a gap, but it's because there's just a noise. And you just take it out. You don't even have to change. You don't have to play anything again. It's just if you see the gap at 2:30, you just hit a string noise. And honestly, either you can take it out right now, or we can take it out later when we reamp. It's not anything that can't be removed. It's just a sound on the strings. It doesn't need to be there. Tiny, but I just wanted to explain that. After the solo, let's see, 311. Here we go. This part. This part. All right. Let's see. That I had originally, there's like some little part in there that was off, but I can tell you just edited it, and I realized that the note that whole there's kind of a decent sized gap from like what is it from about 310 to 315, so it's like 5 seconds. It's because I tried to make you just fix like from like 311 to like I don't know, this little tiny bit, but it doesn't sound right the way it's edited. Like I think this first note. Well, like it's that first note is early or late or something, so then the whole thing just seems weird. I think that whole little part needs to be just played again. It's because you try to fix one little spot and sometimes it doesn't work out. It just sounds weird. It doesn't sound correct. So anyway, that little spot, it's not hard at all. I'm sure you'll get that no problem. And then at like 340. There's a gap. It just the bass kind of farts out too much. You're doing it right. It's like technically, you're in the right timing and it's the right note, but it's just extra loud and farty. And even with the guitars on, it stands out as like a farty bass note. So that's whatever. But sometimes what it sounds like. So I don't know. Just fix that. Just less attack on it because it's just. And then like the very very end, the dun 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 dun, just the it just wasn't tight again. Or what is it? Oh yeah, that needs to be exact. Has to be tight on. But that's it. There's like a couple. There was like one dead note here or there. I mean, there might be. I don't even know what else I did. I don't specifically. I just went through it all. And no, I didn't go through. I mean, I go through this. By the time I'm getting to this video, I've listened to it about 5 fucking million times. Just the bass and drums, then just the bass, and the bass, drums, and guitar. That's the way you should be listening to all your takes like that. You should listen to them just bass and drums pretty much first. And once you think that's cool, it should be bass and guitar and drums. Make sure nothing's off in that once the guitar's added on. And then really after all that, you should go through and listen just the bass, just to hear if there's anything sloppy that's getting lost in the mix. Again, it's just that building a house metaphor. It's like you might let it slide by, but it's like it just makes it less cool in the end. People won't point it out as that's wrong, but it's not as great as it could be. Anyway, other than that, that's it, dude. So you're really fucking close on this one. It sounds great. There's a lot of again, you're getting these videos of all this like negative shit, but it's not negative. It's just because these are things that need to get fixed. I'm not going through every note. That's badass and that's badass, which I could say a bunch. There's hella great shit going on, so killer. But anyway, so this one's really close. It's just those verses, dude. That. 1 2 1 2 3. Just think 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. And that. It's just that's a tiny thing, but I just know it'll sound better if you do it exactly with the guitar. It'll make the choruses hit harder. Anyway, Fucking A, getting really close. Can't fucking wait. Stoked, brother. Good shit, dude.